So I expected November to kind of be a lull month, especially with the holidays coming up. Granted, there was the whole Black Friday thing, and surprisingly, I actually didn't buy any video games during Black Friday per se, at least none that were discounted. Um, so yeah, it's been kind of interesting. But this is the pickups for November 2023. Um, some interesting stuff that I came across. Um, and I guess I really shouldn't say I didn't buy anything during Black Friday because there was two things that I did end up getting, at least for a deal. One of them, anyway. But uh, getting started, I guess we might as well get the wonderful Switch out of the way. Recently, I realized I had reached 100 Switch games total physical. I'm not sure how it all happened. I'm kind of ashamed that I have that many Switch games in my collection, and this is adding another four. So I'm not sure what that means. I kind of love but hate the fact that the Switch is a very much a shmup machine, and it has some decent arcade titles. Um, but I still don't care for the console itself, and it's rough because Matt tends to give me the crap for it. Uh, and I know like Captain Algebra tends to give me crap for it. In fact, anybody on any Discord server that I'm in kind of gives me a lot of crap for it. But yeah, getting in, we're gonna start with Cruisin' Blast. This has actually been on my radar for a while. After actually sitting down playing it during September with Scotty and Corey, I had a blast with it. And generally the cruising games are pretty fun. So I decided to grab a copy. It wasn't on sale or anything, but I found one last copy at Best Buy. So I quickly ordered it, went and picked it up. So yeah, just a fun arcadey style game. And then of course we have limited run release, Radiant Silvergun, which originally on the Saturn, and I also have it on Xbox and PC. Now that it came out on Steam finally, so I've triple dipped, and also I have I've played it on the Saturn, so it's kind of crazy. But this is a legit physical copy because the other ones I have are all digital, so I can at least say I have that. And this thing, Super Mario RPG, which surprisingly is a pretty short RPG from what I've been hearing. I did try to play the original back on the Wii as a digital download. I didn't get too far in it. I think I was only maybe 3 or 4 hours into it, and then I kind of stopped. And I haven't had my Wii hooked up in years, so I never got around to finishing it. So maybe I will this time. I don't know. Stupid Switch backlog. Yeah. Then of course I had to add to the loot collection. I picked up Boo Party from Funbox Media, which is kind of a top-down adventure game. Um, yeah, that it was brought up by Z, who's in Tiger Chainsaw's Discord. Um, so I grabbed it. It was just one of those weird on the fly. Let's go ahead and grab it. Anyway, kind of a actually now that I think of it, I don't think it was Black Friday at all. I think this was part of Disc Replay's Vault Day, actually, where they pull out some rare, uncommon games and they put them on sale. And this is another one that's kind of been on my list for quite some time. And it's been a while since I've picked up anything for this console. And that is the Tears, Shining Tears for the PlayStation 2. A Sega game RPG action. I always had my eye on this one as well. It was one of those, well, if I ever come across it, it's a decent price, I'll grab it. This one was decently priced, and it's complete. So it actually has the manual and everything in it, plus the original little Sega thing, which is kind of strange product registration. But yeah, I mean it's not 100% minty or anything. There's some wear and tear, which I'm perfectly fine with. But yeah, maybe I'll stream this one sometime. So kind of looking forward to that. And then two more games that I bought kind of on when I've been on a Virtua Fighter kick. Surprisingly, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've been trying to get it on the arcade cabinet. I would love a Virtua Fighter 5 arcade machine. of some sort, because I looked at like Lindbergh and getting the original Virtua Fighter 5, or if I could get a hold of like Virtua Fighter 4 for the arcade. Um, and it just hasn't happened yet. I just I don't know if I really even want to spend the money on the arcade hardware or not. Especially since Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution came out on the PlayStation 2, which I have. Um, and of course, there's Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown now on PlayStation 4, which I did get running on the arcade cabinet, which was pretty cool. You can find pictures of that on my Twitter account. Um, and I may even stream it sometime, which I haven't done yet. Now that my streaming setup is nearly complete, I'm actually going to at some point I need more cameras for it. I did a small stream a couple days ago where I did some Darius shmup games, and it works pretty well. So I can kind of say I have that working. Just need some extra parts so I'm not like taking apart my setup that I have here in front of me for my PC, where I do like my Super Gun stuff, my Dreamcast, Saturn, PS3, Xbox 360 stuff. Because like my capture card and all my camera, main camera, I should say, and of course this nice microphone is all here, so I have better sound. Whereas with the arcade cabinet right now, all I have is the option of a wireless mic, which isn't the greatest sounding. I feel I sound kind of muffled. But that's the nitty gritty stuff, and I'm rambling. Anyway, so I did pick up Virtua Fighter 5 online on the Xbox 360. Kind of more the superior version of it since it has online play, which is also kind of silly considering I have the Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown version on Xbox 360, which is the upgraded version of this game, even, but that was digital only. This is the kind of the last, I think Xbox 360 and the PS3 were the last time we actually got physical versions of Virtua Fighter 5. So I wanted to grab that, and then just it was cheap, and I picked back up a copy of Golden Axe Beast Rider for unknown reasons. It's not a great game. I did at one point own it in the past, and I ended up selling it. So I'm not quite sure why I picked it up. I think it was just because it was like $3 or whatever, so I snagged it. Yeah. So, and these are all complete too. They do have their manuals with them and everything, so these are in pretty good shape. But yeah, I couldn't tell you why I picked that one up, other than the fact it was there. Getting into PS4 stuff, of course, we had the release in November of Persona 5 Tactica, which I hope to start here soon. And I didn't get it on the Switch. I actually picked up the PS4 copy. So yeah, because Ixie was visiting me for Thanksgiving, and her and I went to GameStop, and she bought the Switch version, and I got the PS4 version. So, and then of course it's on Game Pass too, which I'll probably end up playing, but at least I wanted a physical copy, which also falls in line with this one. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. And my gosh, I finished this on Game Pass. And spoiler too, for next month, I do have another copy of this that has the English on it, because for whatever reason, PlayAsia did a really weird thing where they said they had the English version, and it turns out to be the Chinese version, and then they had the Japanese version. Even though the game itself actually has English on the disc, you can choose whatever language you want, which is nifty. And then like 3 weeks later, decided, hey, we do have the English cover, which I ordered from somewhere else. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this physical version. I mean, just he'll hold on to it, or I'll end up selling it for whatever. If I can even do that. I'm not sure who's even going to want a Japanese version, but it may just go with my Yakuza collection, I guess. Yeah, still happy to have a physical version of that. Great game. If you haven't played the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series, highly recommend it. I'm glad it's becoming more popular here in the West. I would say, though, there's quite a few lists out there. Don't go by the numbers, so don't start with Yakuza 0. Simply for the fact that, yeah, I feel it's one of the better games in the series, but it's also going to spoil you mechanical and story-wise for the rest of the series. I love the games in general, but I would highly recommend starting even with the PlayStation 2 versions of Yakuza 1 and 2 before moving on to Kiwami 1 and 2, just so you have the progress of all the different changes that the versions went through. Some of the story changes, the fact that the first Yakuza on the PS2 is actually in English, and you have the voice actors like Mark Hamill playing Majima. It's a unique experience, and it's never been released anywhere else but the PlayStation 2. And then continue on the series from there. I would actually say start zero as your, if you're going in line, probably your fifth game. So after Kiwami 2, go back to zero. That way you get the full story and everything comes full circle as to what happened during that arc. And then go on to 3, 4, 5, 6, Like a Dragon, which is technically 7, and then The Man Who Erased His Name. And even Suka, or Ishten, I can't remember, the offshoot games, somewhere in between there, because they have nothing to do with the main storyline. But Kiryu's been through a lot. I mean, my guy goes from being a mobster to a taxi driver to opening an orphanage to lose everything, and now he's this. He's managed to get away from the whole mafia thing to becoming a underground, for hire agent of some sort. And I'm kind of interested to see where that takes him in the new game coming out, Infinite Wealth, especially given his health condition that has been revealed in the trailers. I won't give away too much, but go check out the trailer. It's a fairly long one, and it kind of gives a lot of detail as to what is now happening with Kiryu, along with Ichi, the new protagonist of the series, who's kind of taking the reins from Kiryu. I'm kind of hoping that even this new one, Infinite Wealth, isn't quite the end of Kiryu. Because, I mean, the guy's been, as I said, he's been through a lot. He's getting up there in age, which I love the progression that Sega's giving him, where he started in his mid-20s, and he's now entering his 60s, and he's a grandfather. I mean, and the poor guy can't even watch his own grandkid grow up, let alone the kids that he raised in the orphanage. So, some deep, dramatic stuff, even though the rest of the game, or parts of the games, are kind of crazy themselves. But, yeah. Moving on from there, I had to get this. I'm a big fan of Yu Suzuki's games. And, of course, that's Air Twister. I got the strictly limited version for the PS4. Because I think we're only getting it on Switch physically here in the West, which I think is really weird, unless, heaven forbid, Limited Run decide to run a copy of this for some reason or another, or whatever else happens with this. But this has a different cover compared to what we're getting in the West, and it's basically a successor to Space Harrier. So I wanted to check that out. Of course, it came with this neat little postcard, and then the sticker from Limited Run, or Strictly Limited, I should say. Oops. But Limited Run, the last game from them was finally got a copy of Sword of the Vagrant, a sort of Pseudo-like, or Vanillaware-like graphics. Been wanting to play this one finally, and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for the physical version, so this will be another one I'll be jumping into soon as well, since I can finally play this now. And again, not on Switch, PS4. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for November. A lot of interesting stuff, and more of it just being added to the backlog. But for the most part, I'm going to try to chew through it, see how far I get, and we'll go from there. Not sure what to expect for December. Again, with the holidays and everything, there's not a whole lot really coming in per se, game-wise anyway. I've got my eye on some other things, more music-related, surprisingly. Although video game-related? Not sure. But stay tuned. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.